therapy is not working for me. A lot of the times people come to this conclusion after, let's say, 3 or 4 sessions with the therapist. And that might be the case. That might be the case that actually therapy with maybe this particular therapist might not be working for you, or maybe therapy is not the right service for you to actually solve your particular problem. Okay, so that could be one aspect, but also another thing is that you might have a misconception about therapy as a service. And because you have the misconception of a therapy as a service, then you might think of therapy in a specific way, and maybe your therapist hadn't addressed that. So let's address these two camps, okay? So let's talk about first about the people who are saying that therapy is not working for them, and those people actually do know that, they have a problem. They tried 3-4 sessions, that problem keep on, whatever's happening to that problem is not being solved through therapy. What might be happening there is that I want you to ask yourself questions like, do you agreed with your therapist on an action plan? And if you did, my question to you is, are you doing the things that you're supposed to be doing in your life that had been agreed upon with your therapist? If you're doing them and you still almost like don't feel better, then I would suggest that you probably need to speak with your therapist. But also, I want you to remember, guys, and this is when we're coming to this different camp, because therapy is supposed to solve a problem that you particularly have. Yeah? Now, if you have an action plan, if you're sticking with an action plan and you're not feeling better, that is the misconception. Therapy, short term and temporarily, will not going to make you feel better for few things, for main 2 reasons. And I'll tell you those reasons straight away, because this is what I tell to my clients. Yeah. So when they come to a therapeutic service with me, I don't tell them that they're gonna be feeling hunky-dory. Quite the opposite, because you need to put in the work first before you're gonna see the actual results. So there is a temporarily, you are not gonna be feeling good, and I'll give you the reasons why for that in a minute, but there's a long-term game and long-term gain. So you come to a therapist, you say about your particular problem, and let's use an example so you will know specifically, and you can use any other example. So whatever your problem is, you can just literally insert that problem into that particular case scenario. So let's say your problem is people pleasing and procrastination, or maybe withdrawal, whatever that is. But let's pick people pleasing. So people pleasing, imagine that pattern. That pattern is deeply rooted within your identity. So what you think of yourself and what other people think of you, you developed a certain habitual thoughts, you developed also certain emotional states, and you developed certain habitual actions that are running within that pattern. Okay, and I want you to now really pause, because the people-pleasing pattern for you, let's say specifically if we stick with that example, this is almost like a highway that you have built for yourself. It's running smoothly for decades. Therapy now shows up and it's going to be interrupting that. It's almost like it's going to be destroying that highway that you worked so hard on building, even though it didn't produce the results in your life that you wanted to. And therapy like, mate, all you're doing there is wrong. Your brain will be naturally like, what? You're telling me to this? And of course, I am exaggerating this in the dialogue, because that's not, of course, how it's happening. But I want you to really see that through a different perspective, okay? So you have so much automation in people pleasing that you don't have to use any energy to people please. It's like people pleasing is like so natural for you. It's like you're like a people pleasing actor, like you're so good at this role, and you've got all the thoughts and emotions and behaviors. I'm laughing, but it's not funny because people pleasing does not produce a nice result in life. It's just like it saves so much energy. Now therapy shows up and your therapists are telling you this and this and this and that you will have to change. Your brain will be like, what? So the two problems are this. First of all, you will have to, as you can see, use a lot of energy to change that pattern. That is one. And two, you're gonna feel very bad and not people pleasing. Because it's you're not fluent in not people pleasing, but you're very fluent in people pleasing. You're so good at people pleasing and your brain loves that. Our human brains, they love like, oh my God, I am so good at it. I'm gonna do more of that. Again, exaggeration for the sake of you really seeing what's happening underneath. And non-people pleasing, you don't even know how it looks like. You don't even know how to be it. So a lot of the times you have to experiment, make mistakes. Your brain doesn't like that at all as well. Your nervous system will be panicking because like, oh my God, I'm doing something really badly. Like, I don't want to, like, that is what's actually happening underneath all of that. So when you say that the therapy is not working and it's not making you feel good, that is why. You're not competent yet at new patterns. And also you're using a lot of energy to disrupt these patterns. And let me give you a real life example. So let's say people pleasing. You probably do people pleasing unconsciously at least several times during the day. At least. Now you're coming to therapy, you're establishing the plan with your therapist, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be interrupting that pattern. Yes, feels good at the beginning, but then the day happens, the life happens, and you start noticing, oh my God, I do a lot of people pleasing and I don't even know how to interrupt it. Those thoughts are keep on like spiraling. The emotional states are just keep on getting even more intense, and my actions are still automatically people pleasing. Now, because let's look at it, what actually happens in one situation. So one situation, let's say you're at the grocery store and the people pleasing is triggered by, I don't know, someone, yeah, maybe a friend or a shop assistant, whoever, yeah? And you feel it like, oh my God, I can feel that thing, you know, however people pleasing, let's say, shows up in your particular thoughts, because everyone will have different thoughts about people pleasing and how they please other people, and your emotional state, yeah? So that pause is costing you energy. So it sounds like you're interrupting the pattern, and every pause is energy, it's costing you energy. So you're not running automatically, you're pausing, and each pause your brain like, energy. Now, imagine, so this is one situation, let's say in a grocery shop, in a grocery store, that you're breaking that pattern. But you are asked to do that several times during the day. By the end of the day, I promise you're going to be knackered. When I was changing, and when my clients were changing, they're really major patterns that were stemming, you know, from very like well-ingrained beliefs about themselves. I mean, I sometimes had to sleep like 10 hours or 11 hours, like during the weekend or something, because I was just like mind blown and body blown by what was happening neurologically within me. And the same goes to my clients. They also experience that kind of, you know, exhaustion, not even exhaustion that comes from, it's just you using way more energy. So give yourself grace and give therapy a grace, as in, maybe therapy is working. So if you have a plan, just have a really genuine and honest conversation with your therapist, because your therapist should be able to explain that to you like I just explained to you. But of course, your therapist knows you, knows the situation, knows your particular past and all that. So they will make their explanation way less general and way more personal to you. I can only give you a very general explanation of that. Unless you, of course, book a session with me, then obviously I will tailor everything to you and your particular life. So I trust that really makes sense to you, and you will see why therapy is not producing temporarily feeling good state, but in the long run it will, because at some point you will start and I remember, you know, when I was starting really noticing not even the outer results in my life, but actually I could see that how well I could. So I became way more competent at becoming less not even fighting, but at working with my patterns. Then you start feeling satisfaction. You just start feeling like, oh, okay, I failed a few times, I made loads of mistakes, but that's okay. I learned, and now I can feel like there's a little bit of a smooth run. So once you start ingraining those new patterns and building that new highway, you will start getting satisfaction from that. You're going to start feeling way more pride about yourself, joy, you know, creativity, whatever whatever emotions also you are seeking. So I trust that that was helpful. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, you can also book a session with me in the links down below. You can also check my Patreon account if you're interested in more like subscription-based tiers, but also I post quite a lot on Patreon as well, so you can read some of the stuff that I'm sometimes talking about in the videos, sometimes not. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.